Are you studying for a science exam? If you are, one of the skills that you will need is being able to balance a chemical equation. This comes up a lot in exam questions and can seem quite tricky. In this video, I'll explain it simply so that you can answer questions like this and score really good grades. So let's get started. If you're new here, welcome to BioSmash. I'm Jo. I'm a science teacher and a clinical scientist. This video follows on from my previous video, which looked at what chemical equations are. If you've not watched that video yet, you might like to watch it before continuing any further. When you look at a chemical equation, you'll see it's a combination of letters and numbers. This gives us information about the atoms that are involved in the reaction. Let's start by looking at the letters. The letters tell us which elements are involved in the chemical reaction. To decode this, you'll need to use a periodic table. For example, if you see the symbol Ca, this tells us that the element calcium is present. If you want to know more about elements in the periodic table, then check out this video, which I'll link below. The numbers in the reaction are also important. The numbers tell us how many atoms of each element take part in the chemical reaction. Let's start by focusing on the letters. If you find a periodic table, you'll be able to see what all of the letters representing the elements are. Elements are the building blocks of everything you see around us. Some of the elements have got a single letter representing them, and that letter is the first letter of their name. We use a capital letter for their symbol. As you can see here, other elements have got two letters in their symbol. The first is a capital, and the second letter is a lowercase letter, such as silicon, which is Si. For some elements, the symbol contains letters that don't seem to match the name very well. For example, sodium has got Na. Generally, this is because the element was discovered a long time ago and named in a different language. Let's look at the symbols in our equation. The first chemical in our reaction is H2SO4, which is sulfuric acid. And you can see this contains the elements hydrogen with a H, sulfur with an S, and oxygen for an O. Sulfuric acid is reacting with sodium hydroxide, which has the formula NaOH. This tells us that sodium hydroxide contains the element sodium with the formula Na, oxygen, and hydrogen. The reaction makes sodium sulfate, which has the formula Na2SO4. This tells us that it contains the elements sodium, Na, sulfur, S, and oxygen, O. The reaction also makes water, H2O, which tells us that this contains the elements hydrogen, H, and oxygen, O. If you look very closely, you'll see that the chemicals that are reacting together, the reactants, the ones before the arrow, contain the same elements as the chemicals that are produced in the reaction, which are called the products. It's just that the elements have moved around. To help us understand why the elements all move around, we need to look at the numbers. When you look at chemical equations, you'll see there are two types of numbers. Some of the elements have a small number next to them, and this number is always written at the bottom in the corner of the element. And some elements have a big number in front of them, and this number always goes before the list of the elements. If we look at the formula of sulfuric acid, it's H, S, and O, which tells us there's hydrogen, sulfur, and oxygen atoms present. There is a little 2 after the H. This tells us that one molecule of sulfuric acid contains 2 hydrogen atoms. There isn't a number after the S, but this really means that there's one of those, so there is 1 atom of sulfur. There's a little 4 after the oxygen or the O. So as you may have guessed, this tells us that there are 4 atoms of oxygen in one sulfuric acid molecule. So one molecule of sulfuric acid looks something like this. There's 1 sulfur atom, 4 oxygen atoms, and 2 hydrogen atoms. NaOH is the formula of sodium hydroxide. Remember, when there are no little numbers after the elements, you've just got to pretend there's a little 1 after each one. So this means one molecule of sodium hydroxide contains 1 sodium atom, 1 oxygen atom, and 1 hydrogen atom, all bonded together. Give this video a thumbs up if you're starting to understand this topic better. The whole equation tells us what happens if we add sodium hydroxide to sulfuric acid. What happens is what's shown after the arrow. You'll see 2 new chemicals are made, sodium sulfate and water. Let's start by looking at sodium sulfate, which has the formula Na2SO4. The letters in the formula tell us that this compound contains atoms of sodium, sulfur, and oxygen. The 2 after the Na tells us that there are 2 atoms of sodium. There's no number after the S, which means that there's 1 atom of sulfur. And the 4 after the O tells us that there are 4 atoms of oxygen. So when we pull that all together, sodium sulfate looks something like this. The other chemical that's made by the chemical reaction is H2O, or water. The letters in this formula tell us that it contains hydrogen and oxygen atoms. There's a little 2 after the H, telling us that there are 2 atoms of hydrogen. And the fact that there's no number after the O tells us that there is only 1 atom of oxygen. Here's the overall equation showing you what each of the molecules look like. Now that we understand what all of the formulas in the equation mean, we can start to balance the equation. When you're asked to balance an equation, it's helpful to draw an imaginary line where the arrow is. Then remember this rule. So the number of atoms at the start, so before the line, must be the same as the number of atoms at the end, after the line. We already know what atoms are present because we understand the formula. But it's important to remember that you can't change the number of atoms within a molecule, so you can't change the actual formula. To help to understand why you can't change the number of atoms within the molecule, let's look at carbon dioxide. A molecule of carbon dioxide has the formula CO2, which means it contains 1 carbon atom and 2 oxygen atoms. If we decided to remove one of the oxygen atoms in an attempt to balance the equation, this would leave us with 1 carbon atom and 1 oxygen atom. The formula of the molecule would now be CO, but the formula CO is carbon monoxide, not carbon dioxide. So by changing the formula, we've actually got an entirely different chemical. So let's get back to balancing that equation. In the first half of the reaction, the reactants, we can see there is 1 atom of sodium. But when we look at the products, the things that are made in the reaction, it needs 2 atoms of sodium. Now, the sodium cannot just be magically created. We need to have those atoms from the start. This means that we need to change the equation so that we have a total of 2 sodium atoms amongst the reactants. We can do this by writing a big 2 in front of the NaOH. This tells us that we've got 2 molecules of sodium hydroxide or 2 molecules of NaOH. Now the sodium atoms are balanced, we need to look at the next atom in the reaction. Let's count the oxygen atoms. If we look at the reactants, there are 6 oxygen atoms, 2 in the sodium hydroxide molecules and 4 in the molecule of H2SO4. There are only 5 oxygen atoms in the products, so somewhere we need the extra oxygen to be used so that it ends up in the products. The easiest way to do this is add an extra H2O molecule or a water molecule because this will give us 2 oxygen atoms. So we write a big 2 in front of the H2O, and this tells us we've now got 2 H2O molecules, so in total we've got 6 oxygen atoms. We've balanced the sodium and oxygen atoms, so now we need to look at the hydrogens. There's 4 hydrogen atoms amongst the reactants, and there are 4 hydrogen atoms amongst the products. So now all of the atoms are the same in the reactants and products, and our reaction is balanced. If you're finding this video helpful, it might be good to click subscribe. It'll help you find my other videos. So here's our final reaction. 2 molecules of sodium hydroxide plus 1 molecule of H2SO4 will react together to make 1 molecule of Na2SO4 and 2 molecules of water, or H2O. Well done for listening to this point in the video. We've covered all of the key ideas now, so I've put together a couple of questions so you can check you've understood. I'm going to give you 2 different equations and you need to balance them. So here's the first one. Na plus Cl2 gives you NaCl. So write it down and have a go at balancing it. I'm about to show you the answer, so pause the video now if you want more time. So let's look and see how you got on. We'll start by drawing our imaginary line. On the reactant side, we've got 1 atom of sodium. On the product side of the line, we've also got 1 atom of sodium. We can then move on to look at Cl2 or chlorine. This contains 2 atoms of chlorine, but there's only 1 atom of chlorine within NaCl. This means that we'll have to actually make 2 molecules of NaCl to use up all of the chlorine atoms in the reactants. So we need a big 2 in front of the NaCl. Hopefully, you've now spotted that the sodium atoms are not balanced. We need an extra Na in the reactants. We can achieve this by writing a big 2 in front of the Na. So here's our final answer, the balanced equation. Well done if you got it right. If you're finding this video helpful, I'd love to hear from you, particularly if you have any requests for future videos. Okay, so time for our second example. Fe plus O2 produces Fe2O3. Have a look at this and have a go at trying to balance it. I'm about to show you the answer, so pause the video now if you want more time. So let's divide it into reactants and products. On the reactant side, there's 1 atom of iron. There are 2 atoms of iron amongst the products. So we need to put a big 2 in front of the iron to say that we've got 2 iron atoms in the reactants. The oxygen is O2, which means it contains 2 atoms of oxygen. But on the product side, there are 3 atoms of oxygen. So we need to find a way of balancing so that we have the same number of oxygen atoms on each side. You may have worked out that you could do this if you put a big 3 before the O2 on the reactant side and a big 2 before the Fe2O3. If you got that one right, then well done, because it's a tricky one. So well done for getting to the end of the video. Hopefully that has helped you. If you want to know more about elements and compounds, you might want to watch this video next. Otherwise, I've got this one on how to draw atoms and how to understand atomic structure. Hope to see you again soon.